AITA for asking my boyfriend to stop telling me to lower your volume? Alright, Reddit, I need to get this off my chest and figure out if I'm being unreasonable here. I'm really struggling with this situation with my boyfriend, and I'm starting to question if I'm the one making a big deal out of nothing. So, here's the deal, I keep getting into these moments where I'm super excited about something. My voice naturally gets louder, not yelling, just enthusiastic, and my boyfriend interrupts me mid-sentence to tell me to lower my volume. It's been happening more and more, and every time it does, I feel so deflated and honestly kind of embarrassed. I've tried talking to him about it, but nothing's changed, and now I'm wondering if I'm the asshole for wanting him to stop. Or maybe I just need to suck it up and control my volume better? I don't know. Let me give you the full picture so you can weigh in. For context, I'm 29, female, and my boyfriend, Alex, 30, male. And I have been together for about 2.5 years. We live together in a small apartment in a decent-sized city, and overall, our relationship is pretty solid. We met through a mutual friend at a board game night, hit it off over our shared love of sci-fi novels and bad reality TV, and things just clicked from there. Alex is super thoughtful in a lot of ways. He's the kind of guy who'll leave me a sticky note with a dumb joke on the fridge when I've had a rough day, and he's always down to try new recipes with me even though I'm a terrible cook. Point is, he's not some jerk who's out to make me feel bad. But this lower your volume thing is driving me up the wall, and I'm starting to feel like it's chipping away at how comfortable I feel being myself around him. I've always been someone who gets loud when I'm excited. It's not like I'm screaming or anything, it's just that my voice carries when I'm really into a topic. Growing up, my family was loud in general. Like, dinner time at my house was basically a shouting match, but in a good way, everyone talking over each other, laughing, telling stories. My mom's Italian, so maybe that's part of it. She's always been super animated, and I guess I picked that up. My dad used to joke that you could hear me from the next block over when I was ranting about something I loved, like a new video game or a movie I was obsessed with. It never felt like a problem back then. If anything, people seemed to find it endearing, like it was just part of my charm or whatever. My friends still tease me about it sometimes, but they don't make me feel bad about it. It's just me. Alex, on the other hand, comes from a much quieter family. He's told me stories about how his parents would give him the side eye if he raised his voice even a little at the dinner table. I think his dad was kind of strict about keeping things calm and proper, so Alex grew up in an environment where loudness was seen as disruptive. I get that we've got different backgrounds, and I've tried to be mindful of that. Like, I don't blast music when he's working from home, and I keep my voice down when we're in public or around his friends who aren't used to my energy. But when it's just the two of us at home, I feel like I should be able to let loose a little, you know? I don't want to feel like I'm walking on eggshells in my own space. The first time this lower your volume thing happened was maybe a year into our relationship. We were in the kitchen, and I was telling Alex about this wild plot twist in a sci-fi book I was reading. I was probably waving my hands around, getting all animated, and yeah, my voice was getting louder. Mid-sentence, Alex just cuts me off and goes, "Hey, can you lower your volume a bit?" I was kind of thrown off, but I laughed it off and said, "Oh, oops, yeah, sorry," and kept going, just quieter. It didn't feel like a big deal at the time, but I remember feeling a little embarrassed, like I'd done something wrong without realizing it. I brushed it off because, well, it's not like he was mad or anything. He just went back to listening, and we moved on. But then it started happening more often. Like, I'd be telling a story about something funny that happened at work. I'm a graphic designer, so I deal with some pretty quirky clients, and I'd get into it, my voice would creep up, and boom, Alex would interrupt with, "Lower your volume, please." It's always said in this calm, polite tone, which almost makes it worse because it feels like he's trying to be nice about it, but it still stings. It's not like I'm yelling at him or arguing, it's just me being excited. And every time he interrupts, it's like someone hits the pause button on my enthusiasm. I lose my train of thought, I feel self-conscious, and I usually just end up changing the subject because I don't want to keep feeling like I'm doing something wrong. I've tried to explain this to Alex a couple of times. The first time was maybe 6 months ago. We were watching some dumb reality show, and I was ranting about how one of the contestants was clearly playing everyone else. I got loud, as usual, and Alex cut in with the lower your volume thing. I sighed and said, okay, but can you maybe not interrupt me like that? It makes me feel like you're shutting me down. He looked surprised and said he didn't mean it like that, he just finds it hard to focus when I get loud, and he's trying to keep the conversation chill. I get that, I really do. I know loud noises can be overwhelming for some people, and Alex has mentioned before that he's sensitive to sound sometimes, especially when he's stressed. So I told him I'd try to be more aware of my volume, and he said he'd try to be less abrupt about it. I thought we were good. Spoiler alert, we weren't good. It kept happening, and it's been getting worse lately. Like, last week, we were having dinner, and I was telling Alex about this new project I'm working on at my job. It's a big deal for me because I'm finally getting to lead a campaign for a client I've been wanting to work with forever. I was probably getting loud, but I didn't even notice until Alex cut me off mid-sentence with, "Babe, lower your volume, please." I just stopped talking. Like, I didn't even finish my thought. I pushed my food around on my plate for a bit and then said, "You know, it really sucks when you do that. It makes me feel like you don't care about what I'm saying." Alex got defensive and said, "That's not fair. I'm listening, I just need you to not be so loud. It's overwhelming." We went back and forth a little, and it turned into this awkward tension where neither of us really wanted to keep talking. We ended up just watching TV in silence for the rest of the night. I've been overthinking this ever since. On one hand, I get that Alex has a lower tolerance for loudness than I do. I don't want to make him uncomfortable, especially in our own home. I've even tried little tricks to keep my volume in check, like sitting on my hands to stop myself from gesturing too much, which apparently makes me louder, or pausing to take a breath before I get too worked up. But the thing is, I don't always realize I'm being loud in the moment. It's not intentional. It's just how I express myself when I'm passionate about something. And when Alex interrupts me, it feels like he's policing my emotions or something. Like, I can't just be excited without being corrected. It's exhausting to feel like I have to monitor myself all the time. I talked to my best friend, Sarah, female, about it the other day, and she was pretty firmly on my side. She's known me since college, so she's used to my loud rants. She said it sounds like Alex is being overly nitpicky and that interrupting me like that is kind of dismissive, even if he doesn't mean it to be. She was like, if he's so sensitive to noise, why doesn't he just wear earplugs or something instead of making you feel bad? I laughed, but I don't think that's a realistic solution. I also mentioned it to my coworker, Jake, male, who's met Alex a few times, and he was more neutral. He said maybe I need to meet Alex halfway and work on keeping my volume down, especially since I know it bothers him. He pointed out that relationships are about compromise, which, yeah, fair. But it still feels like I'm the one doing all the compromising here. Part of me wonders if I'm being too sensitive about this. Like, maybe I'm taking it too personally, and Alex is just trying to communicate his needs. I know he's not trying to hurt my feelings, and he said before that he loves how passionate I get about things. But then why does it feel like he's shutting me down every time I get into that mode? I've even started noticing that I'm less likely to share stuff with him now. Like, yesterday, I had this funny story about a client meeting that I wanted to tell him, but I caught myself holding back because I was worried I'd get too excited and he'd interrupt me again. That's not how I want to feel in my own relationship, you know? I want to be able to be myself without feeling like I'm being graded on my volume. I've tried other ways to address this too. Like, I suggested maybe he could give me a subtle signal instead of interrupting, like tapping my arm or something, so it doesn't feel so jarring. Alex said he'd try, but the next time I got loud, he just went right back to lower your volume. I don't think he's doing it to be mean, but it's like he doesn't get how much it's affecting me. I've even wondered if there's something else going on, like, maybe he's more stressed than usual, and that's why he's so sensitive to my volume. He's been working long hours lately, and I know his job can be intense. But he hasn't said anything about that, and I don't want to assume. It's not just about the interruptions, though. It's the way it makes me feel like I'm too much. Like, I've always thought my enthusiasm was one of my best qualities. My friends love it, my coworkers say it makes me fun to work with, and even Alex used to laugh and say it's one of the things he loves about me. But now it feels like that part of me is a problem. I don't want to change who I am, but I also don't want to make Alex uncomfortable. It's this weird tug-of-war where I feel like I'm losing either way. I've been trying to reflect on whether I'm being unfair. Like, I know relationships are about meeting each other's needs, and if Alex is genuinely bothered by my volume, maybe I need to work harder to keep it in check. I've even looked up tips online for how to lower your speaking volume, like breathing exercises or whatever, but it's hard to remember to do that stuff when you're in the middle of a story. And honestly, it feels kind of unfair that I'm the one who has to change when I'm not doing anything harmful. I'm not yelling at him or being aggressive, it's just me being me. But then I second-guess myself and wonder if I'm being selfish by expecting him to just deal with it. This whole thing came to a head a couple of days ago. I was telling Alex about this new sci-fi series I started watching, and I was getting really into it, talking about the world building and how it reminded me of this book we both love. I could feel myself getting louder, but before I could even catch it, Alex cut in with, "Can you please lower your volume?" I just shut down. I didn't say anything for a minute, and then I mumbled, "You know what, never mind," and went to do the dishes. Alex noticed I was upset and asked what was wrong, but I didn't want to get into it again because we've had this conversation before, and it never goes anywhere. He pressed me, and I ended up saying, "I just want to be able to talk about something I'm excited about without you interrupting me to tell me I'm too loud." He got quiet and said he didn't realize it was such a big deal, but he also said he can't help it if my volume bothers him. We didn't really resolve anything, and now things feel kind of tense. So, Reddit, I'm stuck. I don't think I'm the asshole for wanting Alex to stop interrupting me like that, but I'm also wondering if I'm being too stubborn. Like, maybe I need to accept that my volume is a problem for him and work harder to fix it, even if it's tough because I don't always notice when I'm doing it. My friends are kind of split on this. Sarah thinks Alex is being too controlling, but Jake says I might need to compromise more. I'm honestly confused and could use some outside perspective. Am I the asshole for wanting him to stop telling me to lower my volume? Or am I the one who needs to get it together and stop taking it so personally?